Ladies and gentlemen, good day and welcome to Sona Comstar's conference call. At this moment, all participants are in the listen-only mode. A question and answer session will be presentation concludes. At that time, you may click on the video question button below the media player to ask your questions. Please note that this conference is being recorded. Some of the statements made by the management team in today's conference call may be forward-looking in nature, and we request you to refer to the disclaimer in the earnings presentation for further details. The management will not be taking any specific customer-related questions or confirm or deny any customer names or relationships due to confidentiality reasons. Please refrain from naming any customers in your questions. I now hand the call over to Mr. Vivek Vikram Singh for his opening remarks and the presentation. Thank you, and over to you, sir.
Thank you, Aman, and hope everyone had a great new year. On behalf of Sona Comstar, I'd like to welcome all of you to the addition of a third pillar in our growth story, one of sensors and software. Now, as the automotive world moves into the future, it is becoming what we call epic. In the last couple of years, all of you must have read or at least heard extensively about chips. Well, another term for chips is or IC. That is the same IC in Novelic. It is the same IC which is in another form in our view of the future of mobility. So we've coined this term EPIC to capture all the four big shifts, which are electrification of the powertrain, personalization of the vehicle to match and suit driver preferences, the increasing intelligence of vehicles and the systems inside them, and lastly, the connectedness that makes all of this possible. So the EPIC IC also stands for intelligent and connected, and that is the IC in Novelic, that it is novel, it is intelligent, it is connected. In this, I'd say, brave new world that is coming, sensors and software will play an oversized role in the automotive. This realization has been there with us for a long while, but it really hit home when we were making our IMCM module, the integrated motor controller module for the intelligent suspension. And we realized just that single module in a vehicle required 2 million lines of code, which is about 5 times the software that goes into an average space shuttle. And that's not a very surprising thing. The modern car has around 100 million lines of code, where the more advanced ones can go up to 200 million, and a fully autonomous vehicle will have more than 500 million lines of code. With this context in mind, we have embarked upon the next phase in our long-term strategy. Once again, we have been now listed for almost 18 months, and I want to reiterate our purpose as a company. Why we exist as a company is to be one of the world's most respected and valuable auto technology companies. This is important to keep in mind with why we do the things we do. There is a purpose. We're a company that's led by a purpose, and that why is important to keep in mind when you look at any decision that we take. Our automotive industry, as all of you already know, has a technology megatrend called electrification. And we expect that by 2035, EV penetration would be over 80% at least. On that trend, we acted early. We started our journey on electrification in 2016. And that has allowed us to take a leadership position in the global driveline space, as well as the Indian motor space. Now, today, a new technology is emerging, which is one of increasing autonomy and intelligence of vehicles and systems within these vehicles. And in the same Sona Comstar spirit of moving, not where the ball is today, but where the ball will be in the future, we are taking a meaningful step in the direction of electrified autonomous vehicle or EAV with the Novelic acquisition. Now, building an autonomous vehicle in simple terms is a matter of replacing with machinery the three things that humans need to drive: the hands and feet that operate the controls, the senses that perceive their surroundings, and the brain that turns the data into decisions. Now, the first bit is mostly mechanical and electrical. The second one, the one of perception, is achieved through sensors, whether they be camera, LiDAR, or radar sensors. And the third, the intelligence to turn this input data into decisions, is software. Software plus an iteratively learning general intelligence, or in simpler terms, AI. This is what is driving autonomous. What this does, and what Novelic helps us, is in adding the second and third set of capabilities of semiconductor chip design, of radar sensors, software, and ML AI tools, to add to what we already have in mechanical, electrical, and electronic abilities. This would help us to start building the third business vertical of sensors and software. Now, why Novelic specifically? So we have 5 compelling reasons for this. One, extremely few companies share our DNA of being high technology, high growth, and very high profit. I mean, their 27% net profit margin is rare. And when we saw that Novelic has achieved all 3 of these without any external funding ever, metaphorically speaking, at least, it was love at first sight. Second, we've done a lot of research in the last 6 months to validate the hypothesis that radar sensors are the best technology to solve the in-cabin sensing problem. We'll speak more about this and why best. As I've said repeatedly, best is not just high performance. It is high performance. It is high performance and low cost, and importantly, with zero invasion of passenger privacy. Third, which is very, very important to us and very close to our heart, and it is also a fact that most M&As fail mostly due to cultural integration issues. With Novelic, although, I mean, if you can see them on your screen, you will later, they may not look like us totally, but culturally, we are very, very similar, with shared middle-class values of integrity and frugality and respect for money. They are also committed to vitality and agility in innovation and engineering excellence. Fourth, and this one is a slightly technical one, that this is one of the rare vertically integrated companies in this field, with capabilities spanning the entire gamut, from chip and sensor design to signal processing software. Very rare to have the whole capability set at one place. And last but not the least, out of it, so we expect this deal to be EPS accretive from the first year itself, while providing us the opportunity to grow this into another $100 million vertical in the next 6 to 7 years. Now we'll talk about each of these details in the next few slides. So first, the market. Because of increasing autonomy and intelligence in vehicles and vehicular systems, more and more perception is required. This perception is achieved through sensors, as you can see on your screen, whether they be camera, LiDAR, or radar. And according to McKinsey, increasing adoption of ADAS and autonomous or semi-autonomous driving will propel this ADAS sensor market to $43 billion by 2030, which is a today is working on all three types. Novelic is very proficient in radar technologies and can offer sensor fusion algorithms to its customers. In addition to its technology prowess, Novelic is unique in its approach to high profitability and sustainable growth. It has been profitable every single year since its inception. It's grown revenues at a phenomenal 53% CAGR over the last 10 years. And all of this without ever raising any external equity capital. So there is a lot I admire in these three gentlemen that I may not have told them personally, but I'm telling them publicly that the journey they've taken is inspirational to us in many ways. And there's so much like Sona in how we value money, technology, and growth that, I mean, this is only our second acquisition in 8 years. So it goes that we look very hard and we're very selective. But when we do find someone, it is someone very, very aligned with us. So together with Novelic, we are going to be one of the very few companies in the world to have a large and growing revenue share from the twin automotive megatrends of electrification and autonomy, while achieving and maintaining a high growth and remarkable financial performance in terms of profit and return on capital. Now I'll hand over to our group CTO, Mr. Deshmukh, to talk more about the technology and its application. Mr. Deshmukh, sir.
Thank you, Vivek. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Radar will play a significant role in the ADAS world. Radars can detect the distance and speed of other vehicles on the road, obstacles in the car's path, the position of the car relative to the road, and other vehicles in the car's blind spots. Many ADAS functionalities, such as adaptive cruise control, automatic emergency braking, lane keeping assistance, and autonomous driving, cannot be performed cost-effectively without radars. Another critical application of radar technology is in-cabin sensing. Children and pets left behind in locked cars have resulted in thousands of deaths worldwide due to heat stroke. In new car models, government regulations and car safety assessment guidelines mandate child presence detection, or what's called CPD. Euro NCAP 2023 requires CPD for 5-star rating. Major OEMs have joined hands and have announced that they will provide CPD on their own in their cars. Novelic's radar technology detects life presence, child presence, and seat occupancy through vital signs such as heart rate and respiration sensing. The technology works under any lighting conditions, including behind the car seats and even in the car seat well. Moreover, as we have mentioned, the sensing happens anonymously, so there can be no privacy concerns like those in sensing by cameras. In short, Novelic's millimeter wave radar technology is the best solution for in-cabin sensing. The in-car sensing that Novelic's technology makes possible can also be used for other applications, such as optimized deployment of airbags and other safety systems, driver monitoring through the signs of drowsy or distracted drive, or gesture control infotainment machine interface. Let's look at this technology through a video. seen a glimpse of Novelic's technology, let me introduce you to the three co-founders of Novelic who are behind this innovation. Darko, who is the CEO, Velko, who is the CTO, and Veselin, who is the Chief Sales Officer. With that, I hand over to Velko to talk about their innovation and tech capabilities. Over to you.
Thank you, Mr. Deshmukh, and hello, everyone. This is a very exciting moment for us and the whole Novelic team, and we are happy to be here today. Well, I think Vivek and Mr. Deshmukh have given quite good top overview of our technology, and I'm actually happy to see how quickly Sona team understood Novelic's story. I hope also that the video was helpful to everyone else joined today to get better understanding. So I'm not going to talk about technology purely, but also about our story from our perspective a bit. Veselin, Darko, and I, we have been working together for the last almost 16 years. And for the last 10 years, we put all our working energy and our time in a company we founded, together with our amazing team. We are engineers by background, specialized in millimeter wave systems, algorithms, and systems on chip. And Novelic was founded with clear mission to develop end-to-end capabilities in millimeter wave radar sensors, and also to commercialize it through various product lines in different industries, wherever possible, with major focus on automotive. We built our know-how step by step, experiment by experiment, project by project. Our specialty is short-range radar and applications requiring miniature hardware and smartly engineered embedded software, such as in-cabin radar, parking radar, collision avoidance, side or rear radars, guiding and docking radars, etc. Those examples you could have seen on the video. We started as a team of 5, and today we are over 160 people with 130 engineers, 10 of which PhDs, who are developing product platforms in several European developing centers. Like Vivek mentioned, although we have been working with a capital-intensive technology, we have managed to develop that technology in an organic way. We engaged from day one with customers. We provided them short-term value while also trying to identify long-term roadmaps and how our radar technology can fit in those roadmaps in 3, 4, 5 years. On that journey, we generated revenue and profits with continuous growth year on year and used that profits to reinvest. And now, for moving to the next phase of our growth, we wanted to have a strategic partner in a real sense of that meaning. The partner with the same commitment to innovation and technology like we are. The partner who supports us in scaling up our business and who gives us the freedom to innovate further. And to be fair, when we met Sona Comstar team, we knew that this was the one, because we immediately felt great alignment on the core values, and those are the main ingredients of collaboration. Together with Sona Comstar, with access to their customer base and marketing support, we believe that we can grow Novelic exponentially and become a significant player in the global market of autonomous mobility and automation in broader sense. And now on the next slide, let me briefly explain the new ecosystem being built in automotive world and Novelic's capabilities across the value chain. First, the value chain itself is changing and transforming. It's transforming from traditional hierarchy of tiers to hierarchy combined with the need for much more collaboration and orientation to domains of competencies. And that happens in both megatrends of automotive industry, in electrification and also in autonomous driving. We are preparing Novelic for that shift. Basically, what our now big brother Sona Comstar did in the electrification domain, we are going to do in the autonomous driving domain. In our case, this means that we would keep integrating and improving all subsystems of other sensors we develop. Here we speak about electronic boards, antennas, embedded software, application software, or machine learning. On our supply chain, due to our modular and chip agnostic system, we can partner with all leading chip suppliers. So actually, we want to combine modularity of independent subsystems with vertical integration. And we believe that this approach, in combination with changed value chain ecosystem, will give us potential to deliver to and collaborate with basically all tiers, with OEMs, with tier ones, with tier twos, with autonomous driving integrators, with anyone. Depending on the context and customers' demand, we can supply what they need. That can be hardware, software, or the fully integrated autonomous driving subsystem. This will give us resilience, and we consider it one of our biggest strengths in the times that are coming for autonomous industry. I'll now hand over to Rohit to tell you more about the transaction. Thank you.
Thank you, Veiko. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Let me now walk you through the structure and the key financial parameters of the transaction. We have structured the transaction in a way that it's a win-win for both Sona as well as Novelic. Sona will be buying 54% equity in the company for 40.5 million euros through a combination of primary and secondary route. This will mean that Novelic founders will continue to contribute and participate in its growth story in a meaningful way. At the mentioned consideration, Novelic is valued at a pre-money EV of 64.5 million euros and post-money valuation of 75 million euros. It puts the implied valuation at 26 times the estimated PAT for the calendar year 2022, which also happens to be the financial year for Novelic. Purchase consideration will be discharged in 3 installments, with 60% to be paid out at the transaction closing, and the balance 40% in 2 equal installments, each at the end of 12 and 24 months from the date of closing. The transaction will be funded primarily from Sona's existing resources, and we expect it to be closed by end of March. We expect the transaction to be EPS accretive for Sona from the first year itself. This brings us to the end of our presentation, and I'll now hand the proceedings back to the Chorus team for Q&A. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We will now begin the question and answer session. Anyone who has a question may click on the video question button below the media player to ask an audio question. When your name is announced, you will receive a pop-up on your screen. Choose the option Join as Panelist, accept the prompt, unmute your audio video, and proceed with your question. Ladies and gentlemen, we will wait for a minute while the question queue assembles. Ladies and gentlemen, to ask a question, click on the video question button below the media player. While we wait for the queue to assemble, we have our first text question that is received from Chirag Jain from Catamaran. So the question is, basis the press release and the presentation, it seems Novelic's key solution is in-cabin sensing. Is a Novelic solution also being built for the core autonomous driving? If yes, what is the vehicle today and what can it increase to?
So I kind of expected this because this is and Novelic team, apologies, but this is one of the key questions that you get in India if you're listed. Content per vehicle is somehow a term that is used. So Chirag, it is more about the capability that is there. The applications are immense. I will request Veiko to talk a little bit about the applications because, and I think that's what Veiko tried to form for you, the pyramid, that it's changing so much that who provides what kind of content in a system and what is the shape of that final system is very different. I think that question of content per vehicle is very rooted to the world that we showed, the tier 1, tier 2 OEM world. Here, Novelic has the ability and already does provide service to all 4 levels. So the customer could be a chip designer itself. It could be a global tier 1. It could be the OEM, and it could be would become mobility solution providers. People like Waymo, Uber, who are providing you the final autonomous solution. All 4 of them are currently, all 4 of these categories are already customers and will continue to be. However, the framework that one uses to ask questions will be different in this world. But Veiko, you can talk more about what other solutions this capability set can be used for. But for everybody on the call, it is this. It is radar sensing and then processing that sense or that perception when it comes back, processing that for meaningful decisions. That's the capability in very simple terms. But Veiko, please.
Okay. So when we speak about in-cabin solution, we speak about a completely new application in the automotive. So this roadmap was defined pretty recently. We were working on that since the beginning, since our inception. We knew that this application will be on the road of new vehicles, and we built the technology for that. So the roadmaps, like we could have seen of one of our previous slides, are starting the production of that sensor that is mandated by regulatory bodies from 2024, 2025 onward, and all OEMs will have to be ready for that solution. Radar is actually has proven over the years of competition on the technological level and stories among, let's say, regulatory bodies, etc., as the most suitable choice here. So the best product market fit. And we as the company are now ahead of the market regarding the maturity of the solution that we are preparing and regarding the also its cost side, which is not neglectable while partnering with our chip suppliers. So we have the tiny software to resolve several critical applications. So when we speak about content, regarding the content, we speak about applications which are mandatory, which we will have to provide, actually, which OEMs will need to have as the functions for 5-star safety. This is the child presence detection. But we also speak here about add-on functions that we built by smartly engineering the software, which are the seat occupancy detection, so detecting the occupied seat and therefore replacing the current technology which is existing there, which is actually basically the cables and sensors put in the seat. So the radar can, by using radar, we can get rid of those existing sensors and basically get the new product at the very little cost. And also, in addition to seat occupancy, we speak about intrusion and proximity alert, when basically in one sensor we'll also have the alarm function completely integrated in serial production. So this is for the generation 1 of the product. So child presence detection, seat occupancy, and intrusion alert. Of course, and these are the features on all roadmaps of all OEMs. Of course, we are not sitting still, knowing already what can happen in the generation 2, and the work has been done also on more advanced features.
Yeah, to add to what Veiko said, and to give an analogy that I think maybe everyone is familiar with, to say content per vehicle in a software-driven world is trying to, let's say, how much does SAP cost or how much does Microsoft cost per machine? It's a very hard question. It depends on the optionality and modularity that you choose. If you choose just one function, Veiko told you about 3. It could be 1, it could be done in. How many features do you want to add? Depends on each provider. And it will be a choice between the OEM and between the tier 1 and the chip designer. Similar thing, if you had asked us in 2017 that what is the content per vehicle of a driveline in an electric vehicle, we wouldn't be able to answer you. We are trying to do things which are at the cutting edge of what is available in the world today. To be the best, you have to be that person, because that's a classic innovator's dilemma. How much is the addressable market? And you think about what was asked to IBM in 1980s, that how many computers do you think you can sell? Or closer to our industry, what was asked to Mr. Jelinek and Daimler when the car industry started, that how many cars do you think you can sell? The question, I don't think it's the right question at this moment. The track record is there. The growth record is there. Like we said, we are going to grow very strongly and profitably. I don't think these subtleties or modern making devices like content per vehicle need to fit in. And trust me, within 10 years, you'll realize that that's not the question anymore. But Veiko, I think another request, because he said about general autonomy, I think how radar perception can be used for enabling autonomous vehicle in its mobility function, that I think you should also address.
Yes, so when we speak about autonomous driving, so basically we have 2 worlds. One is inside of the cabin, and one is the outside. Basically, most of the attention is focused on the outside now. Our solution was focused on inside of the cabin, so detecting what happens inside. However, one of our product lines. However, we do develop the other product lines which are also based on the same radar technology, which resolve the exterior functions. Some of them also already mandatory, some of them on the roadmaps, every of them basically on the big roadmap of having fully autonomous vehicles. And radar is the inevitable sensor that must be used if we want to have to achieve full autonomous driving. In the exterior world, we are focused on what we call the short range detection. So let's say vicinity of the vehicle, so around the vehicle, to allow what we call low speed autonomous driving functions, such as helping with parking, such as emergency brake in city drive, such as detecting the pedestrians, and also providing not only that, but interaction between the car, the people approaching, or the passengers, while detecting the gestures and other commands to unlock the car or protect the doors of the car. So this is where we are focused today.
Thank you, Veiko. And Darko or Veselin, if you want to add anything on Asper as a product, or how Asper helps autonomy, please feel free.
Hi all. We are speaking about automotive, but we should have actually a much broader spectrum of the observation. the needs and what is our technology is doing is addressing mobility world. Mobility is not only pure passenger vehicles. These are also transportation vehicles we already have in today. They are agriculture vehicles, construction vehicles, minor vehicles. This is also vehicles who have 2 wheels or 3 wheels. So all of them will come and need to merge with new technologies together. The advantage of another approach, which is not purely automotive, is that deployment of technology potentially a little bit faster, considering automotive design process and deployment of the technology. Our Asper platform can offer typically protection from potential collisions which are coming from the back, like a rear radar observation, also transportation vehicles, and also for 2 and 3 vehicles, as well as lateral protection. In many cases in automotive world, people are addressing only corner type of the radars and front radars, and we are addressing rear radars and lateral radars. The main also difference between our approach and other approaches is that the lot of intelligence and signal processing is done on a module itself. That means that Asper type of products can be used for the aftermarket approach, and also approach where such a called ECU unit or processing unit like we have in classical automotive vehicles is not existing. So that means we are strongly believe that the technology will be deeply employed in transportation vehicles, like heavy vehicles, and also will be deployed in vehicles like motorcycles, like e-bikes, where actually the size matters, where processing power matters, and power consumption matters.
Thank you, Veselin. That was actually, yeah, we missed that point. That is much broader than what is currently called automotive. We can move on to the next question, but every one of you who's here, you're invited, and please do visit our stall at the Auto Expo. You will get to see the technology live and in action. The demonstrator that some of you saw in the video would be there. I think it's landed in India today. So you will also meet these 3 gentlemen and their teams, and you will also see the other perception applications of radar at our stall. So please do come. Seeing is much better than seeing on a video or a slide. So please try and come to our show.
Thank you. We invite our next questioner, that is from the line of Kapil Singh from Nomura. Request prompt on your screen, unmute your audio video and proceed with your question. Kapil, request to please unmute your audio video and proceed.
Yeah, hi. Thanks and good evening. Vivek, first of all, congratulations for embarking on a new journey for third dimension of growth, really. So look forward to all the developments here and to the entire Sona Comstar as well as Novelic team. I'll start with the Novelic team first. As somebody who's on the outside, what I would like to understand first is, you're a profitable, high growth kind of a company. So, and you've never raised capital as well. So when this, when you look at this transaction, obviously you're looking at something very strategic that comes to the table. So I heard you talk about, the strategic fit. But if you could also share some of, some 1 or 2 examples of what you think, for example, Sona brings to the table from your perspective.
Yeah, so Darko, Veselin, Veko, anybody wants to answer that, please go ahead. I'm not going to help you with this question. This is just for you guys.
So maybe I can start and then we can all add on. So for us, we see a very, very serious company with high technology focus. So the company that was built on the innovation and that was able to commercialize its innovation on the market. So, and which built the, let's say, the spirit and the culture for that. And this is not something that you can build quickly, or you miss some steps. Basically, you see that by doing conversations, by moving on in checking whether you have alignment. So this was the most important aspect from the beginning. We see that we can and will be mentored on our journey to grow Novelic in a very similar way, just on the, let's say, another technological field. So like I said on my slide, we want to do in the world of ADAS sensors and autonomous driving what Sona already achieved in another pillar. Also, what is important for us is that they will give us the support, but they will give us also the freedom to operate. They believe in us. They will believe what we have built is on the healthy, let's say, pillars, and that we could execute. And we think this is important in these kind of deals, that you keep the momentum. You keep the momentum of your vision, because it will take some time until we really align on all details, and we are sure we will. And by that time, we feel that we will get the freedom to operate and to build the Novelic like we envisioned. So I don't know if Darko and Veselin can add on. Darko, maybe you.
Yes, I would like to add. It's I think we get the experience. If I may summarize. Guidelines, and we can be taught also by Sona how to become the big company. We see it as a big brother, and having also not just that capital investment, but also like having a teacher who can provide us and lead us to this success. If I may summarize in a short sentence.
I will add only one sentence. What we really respect by Sona is dynamic movement. We are facing that all automotive world is dramatically changing. You had the new OEMs approaching fast. We have the old OEMs was still slow and try to adapt. In a world of T1 worlds where the Sona is. Because we engage with a lot of T1s as a customer, as our customers, you see that their organization methods are very old-fashioned, which cannot allow them to act fast and to move. They are not inventing; they are reacting of the needs for OEMs. You need to predict what OEMs will need. You need to engage with OEMs in the early stage. You need to invest in relationship with OEMs to understand their need before they are raising RFQs. And this dynamic is something which we like to follow up together with Sona. We recognize this as a huge Sona advantage.
Okay, thank you. And one question is on just the growth opportunity. How should we think about it going ahead for this business? Is it a manufacturing capacity kind of driven business where we need to make investment? What is the investment plan in next, let's say 2-3 years? What is the capacity utilization, if that is a relevant metric? And there was also a mention of potential to or option to acquire a chip designing company, I believe. So if you could just touch upon that as well.
So Daku can take that one, but it's not potential to acquire. We have a chip design company already.
Okay. It the transaction scope also includes acquisition of Nirsen. Yeah.
Yeah, so Nixon has been, it is a company owned by the Novelic founders in the same proportion. So this, as part of the transaction, Nixon will be acquired by Novelic as a form of having the full integration, going from chip design, then putting the software on that, like the sensors and then the software. The one thing I'd like to add, and thank you guys for all the love, but also getting to mass manufacturing in millions takes a bit of experience. That's something we can bring. Everything else they can do independently, and they don't require us as much. Yes, we're always there to mentor and guide, but they already have all of that. But yes, going from a few thousand to a few million is not a journey that is, I mean, if you do it first time, it's much harder and longer. You go together, it's a bit easier, and we've been there. So that's a good advantage to have in that space. But the second part, Dako, you can talk about that also, what Kapil asked.
So regarding the first focus of the growth is definitely in the technology you have seen on the video. As Veljko already mentioned, this is mandatory NCAP for car OEMs to have it in order to get this safety stars and safety points. So also on our roadmap is this something that we are pushing to be focused on our investment. We are in this field for a long time. We know the technology. We have also a lot of patents there. And it seems for us the first, let's say, success as the in-cabin that we mentioned on the video.
So, Kapil, because you also cover tech, so that'll be easier for you to understand. A lot of it, the investment is people, because you're writing code. How many lines of code is basically the functionality? The board you're not going to manufacture anyway, right? That comes. The chip is also, it's chip design. You gotta get the software part. It's just the manufacturing of just the sensor bits. That's the only bit that is there. So capacity is a derivative of people. We are putting in primary so that the first 3 years business plan is going to be self-funded after that primary. And beyond that should right now doesn't look like. So when I said 100 million, the money is already there. I hope that this 100 million happens much earlier. And I hope then we need more money to do something bigger. Like we have, as you have seen with Sona. I mean, if you say how much would the capex that we have previously outlined last time we spoke, what was what, $120 million, right? 120 million, yeah, is enough to service what was our order book till the end of last quarter. And next quarter's order book will increase, and hence funding increases. But yeah, we are fairly good with, I would say, capital deployment, capital allocation, and capital usage. We are a very, I'd say, like I said, and this you'll also appreciate, it's a very middle class, strong value on how to take every rupee, every euro, and extend the maximum use out of it while not sacrificing our technology goals. It is extremely rare. And that's why, I mean, we acquired Comstar in 2018. For 4.5 years, we haven't done anything. It's because we rarely meet somebody like that. If you meet really high tech, high growth companies, there you have to talk about cash burn and all. And we are not the people who can digest cash burn. We don't have that in our system, right? Or you meet people who only talk about things like, yes, this content per vehicle, $10 per vehicle, so many vehicles, this multiply, give me 8 multiple. Those, why should I do something that I can buy the equipment and do it myself? If you're not gaining any capability, if you're not adding anything to yourself as a organization, as a human being, what are you doing? We are trying to make technology that the world looks to us for. which is why I started with our purpose. It is never purely financial, but it has to be financially sound. Finance is the second part of it, but it has to be highly profitable and able to stand on its feet. But this transaction that we've envisioned and the business plan that we've drawn out together, that funding's there. So we should be able to, on our own steam, get to, like I said, the 100 million target is because we all joke about it, but that's the time we will become a real company, right? So that's the goal. And then we see how we take it from there and how quickly.
Sure, look forward to that. Just one clarification. This $100 million includes what all? Does it include, is it in-cabin technology only, or what all does it include?
So ACAM, as per, am I missing something, Darko? So ACAM is the short form for in-cabin, advanced, I don't know, you guys can tell, Darko Veku can explain. And as per is the sensory perception one. Plus we have IoT products also. Darko?
Yes.
So in 100 million, what would be the breakup like?
It's more question for Veselin, I think.
So we will have two different main approaches, one a little bit smaller. The direction is that we are hoping that we are approximately in Asper type of the platform, and from other side, inside of the cabin platform. There will be the main pillars of that what we are expecting as a revenue stream. You need to understand, and we have in a space of the sensors, you're speaking in defining smart commodity hardware. If you have smart commodity hardware, after that you can bring up new functionality considering machine learning, new functionality considering new applications who are actually like a software. This software content together with hardware will make a difference. The value for the customer will be not necessarily, actually you will have a smart sensors which we are going to develop. So in our roadmap, all type of platforms, the basic platforms which we are designing for the hardware point of view will be enhanced by comprehensive software updates for the different application which will come constantly. So we are expecting that in this area we will having two major platforms, a lot of family of different products for different type of concrete applications, covering complete mobility. And we are starting the advantage like detecting a people. Detecting people means you can detect people inside of the vehicle, you can detect people outside of the vehicle, you can detect the people also in an industrial environment. So all those things are there. But as said, we are focusing at the moment to mobility solution, where automotive itself, passenger vehicle is one part of the story, and the second part of the story is the rest of the applications in construction, transportation, 2 and 3 vehicles.
So Kapil, in short, ACAM, cabin sensing, ASPER, which is sensory perception, which is outside the vehicle. These are the big two from product side. Plus, there will be engineering services and licensing. There is a lot of licensing income that we get because there are customers who want to deploy on their own. They just want you to design and give them the sensor software. And you get paid for as many units they sell. So these are the three revenue streams. And licensing, currently, a large part of it is licensing. And there, trust me, if you can think of any major European OEM, it is already there. So yeah, that will also continue. However, over time, ACAM will be the biggest revenue stream as per second biggest, and licensing and software services as the third revenue stream.
Thank you. I have a lot of questions, but we'll come back in the queue.
Yeah, but the thing is, see, in this changing world, where the product versus service or product versus solution, actually, it is solution now. The solution could be a piece of hardware or it could be a few lines of code. Now, you don't manufacture lines of code, but you got to do it together. I mean, if you have come to our Chennai plant and you've seen our IMCM, what does it look? It's just a board with a lot of electronics. So, and you would wonder why is it so expensive? Is because of the millions of lines of code that go into it. And that, I mean, like somebody asked me once that, what is the weight? And like, how would that matter? And I think we all, and hopefully, as people understand us as a company more, and I hope we can do that job. We sometimes are not that good at it. We can also help people realize that it is a very fast changing world. In a car that has 100 to 200 million lines of code, the old way of how much does it weigh and how much is value addition, those days are going and very fast. So let's see how well we communicate this. That's always been a challenge, especially in India, right? I mean, I think it would be easier to communicate this in San Francisco or Israel or Stuttgart, but in India it gets a little difficult because we are also used to what we see around us. And that still perhaps is a little behind where global mobility is already moved.
Sure. Thank you.
Thank you. We move to our next question, that is from the line of Hitesh Goel from CLSA. Request you to please accept the prompt on your screen, join as panelist, and proceed with your audio with your question.
Hi everyone. Hello Vivek, Rohit, and Sona team, and also the Novelic team, and congratulations for the great deal. I just wanted to understand, I missed that structure part on the transaction. First, can you please explain that, is it as founders share and how much going into the company, if you can explain that. And I also saw,
Hitesh, I'm sorry to interrupt. May I request you to please speak a bit loud? You're not
yeah,
really
can you hear me now? Can you hear
much
me now?
better.
Yeah. So I just want to understand the, the structure, how much is there a stake sale of founders in this transaction? How much is, or how much is going to the company? And in EV is 64.5 million. So there is around 23.5 million debt, right, in the company. Just wanted to understand this structure because I missed it.
So I'll clarify. So post-money valuation is 75 million. Okay. And Sona will be acquiring 54% stake as a mix of primary and secondary. So what Sona will pay out would be 40.5 million as total consideration. And the payout has a staggered sort of cash outflow. So 60% on closing and then 20% each at the end of 12 and 24 months respectively.
Okay, so is there a debt in the company, or it's totally
No,
debt?
it's near to zero, let's say.
Okay. Okay, my second question would be, can we understand it much better, the background of the promoters of Novelic before starting Novelic? Just want to understand, have they worked with, which companies, so that, we can understand some relationships.
Sure. So first of all, hi, Hitesh. I haven't seen your face for like, I don't know, 1.5 years. So hi.
Yeah.
Darko, Veselin, who wants to take this one?
I will tell us a couple of words. So the company Novelic just celebrated 10th anniversary recently. But generally, the co-team, that means three of us, we have been working together previously in a German-based tier 2 company in Stuttgart. So we were actually delivering solutions to tier 1 companies in Germany. And we were working together in this area for more than, I would like to say, I think 7 years before. So that means we are working quite long time together. It was very important because it's not easy to make innovative company which also brings money. It's not easy to make innovative company which can understand how to make a product. This is essential thing. In order to have this, you need to have experience how to make a product. This is a basic in classical startup. He has excellent ideas. Maybe they can have like a prototype, but doesn't know to make a product. So that means in this parallel world, you need to build other competencies to deliver maturity of the product and also to bring up the new ideas in front. So I think we managed to do it through our long experience and work in this area.
Okay.
So Darko, that was a short time for me.
Yeah.
Maybe
Western was their boss, Darko's and Veko, and he hired them. And then the three of them came back from Germany. Actually, if you understand a little bit about the European structure, a lot of people, the bright people from Serbia, had to go and work in, Western European countries like Germany. It happened in India as well, right? Like a lot of our brighter engineers went to the US, and now we are also seeing that. And then all the three of them thought, why can't we do this in our home country? And that's why I said very shared values in a lot of things. But I'll let Darko speak on why they came back and started an entrepreneurial journey.
Yes, at that time, it was more than 10 years ago now. We're sitting on the table, at the table, and we then decided we were speaking about, any of these ideas we were discussing because we were based in Stuttgart. We had many connections with automotive industry, and then we came to the idea and be able to see how the millimeter wave radar sensor is going to be developed in the future. And we decided to go back in Belgrade and set up and found the company. We started with 5 people, and today we have more than 150 people. All 3 of us have electrical engineering background. So at the beginning of Novelic, we all were also designers, software developers. We did also programming of these FPGA chips. We designed the chips, so we have also skills there. And slowly, as the company, progressed and became larger and larger, we actually started, to see that there is really a potential that needs to be used in order to develop this idea.
And do you just one more question? Do you think you will also get benefit from Sona relationships, global relationships in some of the OEMs or customers that they have? In Europe, you have a good relationship, but they do have a relationship China, US as well, right? So, is that or a thought process, while going with Sona?
Yes, also, having access to these customers and going hand in hand with our big brother, that's definitely something that can be useful for us, and getting experience also from these relations with the OEMs, with the tier ones, how to deliver the products, how to communicate with them, how to set up these deals, how to go at the end into the production also of these products. That's something that definitely can Sona help us.
Great, and I wish all the best to both of you, both Sona and Novelic. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very
Thank you, Desh.
thank you.
Thank you. We take our next question from the line of Jinesh Gandhi from Motilal Oswal. Request you to screen and proceed with your question. Please accept the prompt, join as panelist and proceed.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, Dinesh.
Yes, we can hear you.
Hi, a couple of questions from my side. One is on the structure of the transaction. So, can you talk about for the balance 40%, is it linked to any milestones or it's just the timing?
Just timing. I assume you're asking about the payment transfer.
Right.
Remaining 46% of the equity will be held in equal proportion by the three co-founders.
Okay. And any roadmap for or any call options which Sona has to acquire balance 46% stake, or that's not yet part of the transaction?
No, it isn't, and it's also not part of our ideology.
Okay.
We are not chip designers, they are. We need to know what we are good at and what we bring to the table and what they bring to the table, and respect that.
Got it.
This is not an asset acquisition, Jinesh. This is a capability. Capability lies within the individuals, not in a building or a machine.
Sure. And on what sum of money goes into of this 40 million euros, how much goes into the company? You indicated the $100 million revenues would be largely
Actually,
funded.
I think the details that Rohit shared, it is easy to do the math. The founders requested that we don't speak out how much they are getting, but the pre-money and post-money valuation, if it is provided in the slide, I think it's very easy to work the math backwards. So I request you to do that.
And this funding into the company will be good enough to take it to 100 million euros, is what you indicated.
Yes. So if we stay on the business plan, the funding plus obviously the cash that is being generated by the company itself. This is a very high cash generation business. As you saw, 27% of it is net profit. So with that and the growth is also a lot of free cash being thrown out. So that plus the primary infusion should in all probability get us to our business plan and frankly a little beyond. But it's best to be a little conservative with these things. Capital we will not let it become a constraint to the growth of this company. Neither have we for ourselves. We started, if you remember, in 2016, we were a 350 crore company. And we have got this far. We have not really, and we're still, I think, pretty much debt free. And we can accomplish a lot if we use our cash wisely.
Got it. And lastly, can you talk about the competitive landscape for this solution? I mean, not the technology, but the solution for in-cabin sensing, and that way, where are we? Novelic is in terms of market share might be the wrong word, but where are we in terms of our competitiveness? If you can talk more about that. Thanks.
It's a very good question, but here solution and technology are both linked in a way. But Veko Dapo, Veslin, who wants to take this one? And please be gentle on your competition. Don't say anything that one. So please go.
So maybe I can try on this one. Good question, actually, very good one. So first, started among technologies basically. So like for every sensing problem. So at the beginning, there was the millimeter wave radar that we were doing. There was camera. There were some other technologies, and from recently, there is almost a consensus in the industry. Sorry.
Veko, do you want to show the slide of camera versus radar versus LiDAR if we have it? Prateek, do we have that? Actually, it's a very good question, Dinesh, in many ways. Because this perception problem, there are, people asked about hybrid versus electric versus hydrogen. We bet on electric, right? It's proven true. Right now, that same thing is going on. Although I think it's a multi-sensor thing. LiDARs, I don't know, but it's okay. LiDAR is very, very, very expensive. Like it's just insane. Camera is the cheapest, but it suffers from a lot of problems. Not just privacy, in many environmental conditions, it just doesn't work. And it is invasive. So not everybody appreciates that. So radar is a bit of both, plus the wave that Veko is talking about is so accurate that, and he has written a paper on it, by the way, and I might send it to you later, that you can actually do ECG. You can detect skin movement. You can get the heart rate. You can do an ECG using radar waves. Is that accurate? So the insanely high level of accuracy, which is far beyond cameras, at a reasonable cost and not a cost of LiDAR. And that's the big advantage between the technologies. And we could, again, you can go on with the competition within radar.
Yes, exactly. So the choice among technologies then narrowed down to the millimeter wave radar for the applications that we are mentioning. Of course, here is important to say, and we will follow that story, that for the other applications that also exist in cabin but also outside, so there is no a single sensor which is the best solution in all terms. So there will be always the coexistence of those, and that's why we build our competencies focused on radar, but also ready to do the sensor fusion when the time comes. But now we are focused on the radar and on these particular features that we mentioned for the in-cabin. In that world, regarding the competition, so basically today there is one tier one